This is On The Wire, Racing TV's podcast for the best racing previews in association with Bar One Racing.
Yeah, Davy Roche is our special guest on the show today, Henry De Bromhead's head lad. And as he said just before we came on the show, if you don't get excited about the racing that Henry De Bromhead stars and the wins that they've enjoyed of late, you're in the wrong game. If you're not excited about the racing this weekend, you're also in the wrong game. What an absolute cracker of a festival Sunday at Fairyhouse. We'll talk to Davy about that. We'll also talk about the astounding performances last weekend, mainly of Absolute Tara and also Bob Ollinger. We'll also talk about the three runners has in Newbury and lots more besides with Johnny Ward, Brendan Duke and Bar One Racing's John McDonald. Davy, how are you?
Really good, Johnny, yeah.
This is a great time to be alive if you're associated with HDB. As Dukey called him, Dr. Fancy called him last week.
Yeah, it's brilliant to be down the yard at the minute. We're surrounded by savage good horses and so it's going well.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
I've been with Henry 13 years now, for my sins, and I'm an assistant trainer there with him now, and yeah, it's going well.
So I actually called you the wrong name. You're assistant trainer rather than head lad.
You can call me whatever you want. I still do the same gig anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
What sets him apart?
It's probably small things might drive him mental more than big things. So it's probably attention to detail. He's just he gets stuck into it and off he goes, and he loves the job probably.
And in terms of their jumping as well, he's spoken about this the loose schooling that you do on the schooling ring where the horses nearly kind of get to know how to jump themselves. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, they'd start off there. The young horses go in and start off. For like it's just to get them going and get them jumping, and they just generally go in and they love doing it. It's like they go around there, and you've probably all seen them that they go around there loose and they be playing around and they just jump, and it's to get confidence on their own, and then it's if they're confident they'll jump, and then it's up whether them and the jockey have the same idea going down to it, but it all helps.
And Dukey, I think when Ballyadam fell in his chase debut at the first, it was one of the greatest shocks that ever befell the world, not to mind racing. That's the regard in which you and I hold Henry De Bromhead.
Well, certainly when it comes to getting them to jump, yeah. But Ballyadam is the exception that proves the rule. Some horses just, Davey would probably tell you more of this. I'm sure they're working hard to get him to jump, but he's going to test all their skills from the looks of them.
That first day was sort of X-rated sort of stuff. And before he was jumping really well before it at home. Tara schooled him plenty of times up the field. Rachel would have schooled him, and it just didn't happen. He just took his eye off it, and they all make mistakes, and he just took a bad time to make a very bad one.
We're going to look back now very shortly on HDB's Cheltenham winners last year. We don't even have time, I think, to look at the Grand National this year. We've so much HDB stuff in the show today. But before all of that, Johnny Mac, this card on Sunday, racing kind of it's edging back into the national hunt scene. I suppose Down Royal is seen maybe in Ireland as the kind of the beginning of the start. But like, if we're not back Sunday, we're never back. And Honeysuckle must be brilliant for the brand of the card.
Yeah, Johnny, it's a meeting that's going from strength to strength. Honeysuckle has lit the meeting up for the last couple of years. They've ridden more in the Royal Bond, looks stronger renewals than we've had in the past. They're quite deep, and yeah, it should be a great day, Johnny. It's a meeting that's been used as a stepping stone to greater things for lots of the bigger yards.
Yeah, and speaking of greater things, let's look back at some great things at Cheltenham that were trained by Henry De Bromhead in 2021.
Honeysuckle moves into the home straight with a 2-length lead to Aspire in second. Charger has moved into third. Epatante is behind those in fourth, but Honeysuckle is galloping clear as she races towards the last. A lovely leap. She cleared it safely and heads up the hill now. Honeysuckle and Rachel Blackmore clear from Charger. Epatante behind those. It's a beautiful straight. 11 victories for Honeysuckle. She is the winner of the Unibet Champion Hurdle.
Quarter a mile to go. One flight to jump in the Ballymore. Blackmore, and it's Rachel Blackmore and Bob Ollinger who've gone for home. Gone a couple clear from Brave Man's Game and Gaillard de Menil back in third, clear of Bear Gills. Bob Ollinger spring-heeled over the last. He landed 4 clear. Gaillard de Menil is chasing, but surely chasing in vain. It's going to be another for Rachel Blackmore and Henry De Bromhead in the Rob Core colours. Bob Ollinger, all guns blazing, lands the Ballymore. Chacun pour soi at the last, jumping on from Put the Kettle On. Newbury Negra is staying on stoutly with Grenadine. Chacun pour soi. The mare is rallying though. Put the Kettle On is fighting back. Newbury Negra forced to switch, closing in. Put the Kettle On, noses ahead. Newbury Negra closing. Put the Kettle On, wins again at the festival, and the mare fights them off to take the champion chase. Newbury Negra close
as they make the long run to the final flight. It's Magic Days who's being hunted down now by Tell Me Something Girl, followed by Glen Savantrim, and then behind these Rosie's Hollow, jumping the final flight is going to be Tell Me Something Girl, who's come through to take it up. Tell Me Something Girl is over safely. Magic Days in second, then Sky Ace, and then Glen Savantrim. Mighty Blue onto the stand side, but Tell Me Something Girl is sprinting away up the hill, and here is something. Here's a great mare, Tell Me Something Girl, and Rachel Blackmore, another winner for her at this memorable racing for the last. Quilixios over on the far side, Adagio and Tom Scudamore trying to make a race of it from Hohen Couleur back in third place. Here it comes, here is the last. Quilixios will take off with a 2-length lead over Adagio and Hohen Couleur as they race up the hill. Quilixios and Rachel Blackmore out in front again here at Cheltenham, and Quilixios is kicking away, and it's going to be number 6 for Rachel Blackmore at the meeting, and Quilixios wins the JCB Triumph Hurdle. Heading to the last, Minella Indo and Jack Kennedy. Our Plutard is trying to come back at him in second place with 3 lengths to find up the hill. Minella Indo, he's won here before at Cheltenham. Our Plutard giving chase all the way, getting closer now under Rachel Blackmore. Minella Indo is all out, flat out, but he wins the Gold Cup from his second Our Plutard.
What was it like, Davy, last year at Cheltenham? I know it kind of extended into the Grand National and so forth when Ireland had an incredible Grand National, but the Gold Cup that obviously Henry had, the performances of the likes of Honeysuckle throughout the week, you must have been pinching yourselves.
Yeah, it kind of got a bit surreal there at one stage. When it started off, the first day you're kind of thinking, yeah, Honey will win and we'll be grand, we'll get one of them out of the way. And it just kept picking up, and then you get Bob, you get Put the Kettle On, and then you get the Gold Cup, and you end up getting a 1-2 in it. It just got crazy.
Did the performance of Bob Ollinger, how easy he won, did that surprise you at all at Cheltenham? Not to mind that we'll talk about last weekend as well subsequently, but at Cheltenham, the way he finished the race was quite extraordinary, I thought.
No, I just think he's really, really good, and I would have been very surprised if he was beat. I just thought he was better than them, actually.
You can tell Juki he's a bit of a fan of the Bob.
I mean, you can't blame him. It was just an interesting reaction on Twitter to the run in Gore, and I thought, he made a slightly awkward shape over a couple of them, and he pitched on landing a bit at the second last. But in general, I think actually it's a little bit Henry's reputation preceding him. That's the only thing I can think that why people were so indifferent to his round of jumping is because they were thinking, well, it's Henry De Bromhead, it'd be a complete natural. I didn't think he was a complete natural the way Brave Man's Game was. But there's no harm having a bit to work on. He never looked in danger of falling or anything, and I'm sure they'll be working away on his jumping, and he can definitely get better. He may never be as good a jumper as Brave Man's Game, but not many are, and also he has a lot of lengths in hand on Brave Man's Game. So it's up to Brave Man's Game to make up the ground over the fences, isn't it?
We'll get Davy on that now. We'll just look back on the races from last weekend, the two stars, Plutard and Bob Ollinger, and I couldn't agree more to Juki in that. I think, Davy, this is learning on the job as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what beginner's chases are for. It was a good beginner's chase, and when they turned into that straight, when Ashton and Bob came up on his inside, they were trapping down that straight, and that first one you run down, but you run downhill to the first one, and then he just pegged a bit, and Dara done the best thing ever. He got down to the last. He was 5-6 lengths clear. He took him back. Like if he'd went down to the last and sent him and he'd have fallen, they all would have said, "Oh, Dara done this." I thought Dara gave him a brilliant ride all the way around, educated him. That's what you want. You want to learn things going around out in the day, and he did. He learned plenty.
I love horses who finish the race as well, and he certainly does that. Dukey, the jockey on board is obviously making an impression, and his ride was hailed there by Davy. But I thought he was a bit short for the Marsh Chase before the race. He actually shortened again afterwards. But maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe this horse is just a complete machine.
Well, I mean, I can understand why the bookies are running scared, because how many horses are going to take him on? You'd imagine a lot of them will go up to 3 miles to avoid him. And if something were, I mean, this is all hypotheticals, horses can get injured, but if something were to happen to appreciate it, they might all duck him and head for the Arco. So I'd say you'll see, I'd say from the bookies' point of view, they're thinking there's going to be 5 or 6 runners in the Marsh. Now, if Brave Man's Game goes, that might change things, but I wouldn't particularly like to be laying him.
Yeah, we'll get Johnny Mack's betting on the big race in Newbury tomorrow in a couple of moments. But Rachel Blackburn heading over to England for these big race Saturdays is becoming a bit of a thing. Davy, what can you say about this performance last weekend? It was jaw-dropping at times. 22 lengths he won by. Absolutely amazing performance on his season return. The first Irish trained winner of the race.
Yeah, everything through the race was brilliant. He jumped off, he travelled, he winged fences, and like she was able to take a pull, turn into the straight, and she was laughing. The two of them just get on really great together, and he was just really, really good. The race might have fallen apart a bit, but he was savage.
Is he better than last year?
Well, he's entitled to be, because he's only 7, so like he's done an awful lot for a young horse. Like he's won a grade 2 over 2 or grade 1 over 2 miles, and now he's won a couple of them over 3 miles. There's not many horses can do that, so he's bound to be improving a bit as well.
Yeah, and just as the depth in that stable, in that division, not to mind in Ireland, Dukey. I know that, obviously you had a couple of disappointments in behind, notably the second favourite, obviously, but that was a hell of a performance. Yeah,
because Royal Pagaille, while he is definitely a better horse when the ground is deep, he's still a useful horse in those conditions. I think he ran his race, and A Plus Tard laughed at him. So it was a savage performance. He's a rock solid horse. He could be getting better, as Davey said. He's only 7 now. He's been jumping fences since he was 4. I know that. But it may be that if my theory about Manella Indo is right, and he doesn't go forward, or he doesn't maintain his level of ability this season, there's no Monkfish to worry about. A Plus Tard looks almost certain to run his race in the Gold Cup, and a repeat of last year's run might be good enough this year.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with you, and he actually just might be slightly improving as well. Johnny Mack, 3 runners for HDB in Newbury tomorrow. He's making across these raids a big deal now for him, obviously buoyed by the performance last weekend. What price is Eclat de Rire? How did they bet in the Ladbrokes Trophy?
Yeah, we're 90 to the field, Johnny. On the ropes, Willie Mullins is Munster National winner 92, along with Henry's horse. And we're 5s that fiddler on the roof. And Rillo of Paul Nicholas is 11 at 2 bar. It's bigger prices, the others, but the Irish horses are going to be very, very popular, Johnny, for the big one.
And he's that bracket of horse that you really want for a race like this, isn't he? He's what we'd call a sophomore chaser, in that he's in his 2nd season, Davy, and obviously he's an awful lot more to do than what he did at Wexford last time. But what sort of chance would you give him?
Yeah, he's got the right profile by all accounts anyway. He improved. He had to improve for Wexford, and he seems to be after improving. And you'd have to hope that he's gone the right way. That you'd have to hope that he's a small bit ahead of the handicapper, and he jumps. It was a bit of a blip at Cheltenham last year, but before that he was really good jumping, and he ticks a lot of boxes, I'd say.
Give him an each way chance.
Yeah, I hope he's a bit stronger than each way, Johnny. Yeah.
That's what we like to hear, Dukey. What's your opinion on the race? Like Fiddler on the roof, obviously on the ropes, Eclat de Rire in the race. It's an absolute cracker renewal, you'd have to say.
Yes, and they're the interesting horses, as you say, with the 2nd season profile. I would lean marginally towards Eclat de Rire. I mean, he's a big, strong, strapping chaser. I think he loved Newbury. Newbury's the fairest track in the world, and it should certainly suit him better than Wexford, where he's always on the turn. I think he loved those big fences, having time to measure them, and he would be my bet in the race. Although I'd probably just watch it.
Yeah, Mr. Incredible running in the 12:40, possible match with Mr. Incredible and Hoist Neuer. We'll see about that. But I thought Mr. Incredible's performance the last day, Davy, at Naas, he beat Indiana Jones and maybe a slightly frustrating horse, but a very talented horse in Jeremy's Flame with Genoa back and forth. That was strong form.
Yeah, and it was actually a very good performance for him because he takes plenty of work to get fit, and we probably thought he was going to need it a bit. And for him to win first time out in what was sort of a bit of a carnage of a race, but he got there in the end and he done it well.
What sort of chance tomorrow?
I think he could be a really nice horse. Yeah. Newbury he will love Newbury. Good fences, and a high senior lead him along, and hopefully just follow him away and see where we get on then. And it's kind of a fact-finding mission too. We'll see where we are.
And bear in mind, Henry De Bromhead will have told Davy to play things down, don't be shouting from the rooftops. So with all that, the context of that, what he's actually saying about these horses should be taken on board because he's very, very bullish on this Friday afternoon. What about Sumtuo, your fine runner at Newbury?
Yeah, sure. Look, he's owned by the same people who own Eclat, and she's gone over. He's in good order, and he's gone over the good chance. There's only one problem about all that, Johnny. Henry's a pessimist, and I'm an optimist. That is the big problem.
I've watched races in the press room, Dukey, with Henry De Bromhead at Tremor when a horse is 27 lengths clear jumping the last, and the man has a frown on his face. He's extremely pessimistic, but whatever it is, it works out.
Yeah, well, I mean, fair. If you think the worst, only good things can happen. I suppose that's a theory. I would be of a more optimistic bent myself, but between the two of them, the yin and the yang of Henry and Davy, they seem to be they have it going on.
Any tips for yourself from Newbury? That's a fascinating card tomorrow.
No, nothing. I only really concentrated on the Irish stuff, so I haven't got anything for you.
So we're going to go to the Sunday amazing card, Bar One sponsored card very shortly. Just before we get to that, we look at the Irish offering tomorrow, and also Johnny Mac. Any specials for our punters at Newbury or on the Saturday cards?
Yeah, we've a good sign-up offer heading into, sorry, Johnny, but we've a good sign-up offer heading in weekend here at Bar One Racing, launched in conjunction with the Winter Festival. It's a bet 10, get 50 offer. It's as good as you'll get out there, and it's going to be there until midnight on Sunday. So if you put in an account, bet 10, get 50. Details on the website, go to the promotion section of the website, and you'll see the full T's and C's. And we're going to be price boosting as well at fairs across all channels this weekend.
Beautiful. That's a hell of an offer as well. You don't get offers like that anymore. The days of bookmakers just throwing money at you to sign up to accounts are basically gone. So that's actually a very good offer. Just before we get to Sunday, Davey, that 12:30, which is the Grade B handicap chase, it's a trappy enough renewal. I thought unaccepted. Obviously, has to come back from a disappointing one the last time. You run Epsom to Who and the very talented January Jets as well. Both would have chances.
They would, yeah. Epsom Who was good down in Cork the last day. Shane gave him a savage spin. And then January Jets, he's kind of, he's in good, like, he's going well. He's probably a small bit frustrating at times, but he's going the right way, hopefully.
You also run Holy Macapony, the veteran Cavanagh's Corner, Mind Your Money, and Watch Cross House. 6 runners on the card.
Yeah, Holy Mac's first run in a beginner's chase, he was very good in his maiden hurl, and then he's kind of he's better runs this year. And then Cavanagh's Corner won the race last year, so we're going back again. Then we have Mind Your Money. Mind Your Money is good order. She was she ran really well early on last year, and then she tailed off, so we gave her a break, and it's her first run back. And Watch House Cross is first run for us, and we'll see how we get on. He's a nice horse.
Watch House Cross, interesting horse. He was last seen winning his point in Dromahand. What sort of prospect is he?
Yeah, he works nicely, jumps well, and it's just like most of ours at this. We're just out to find out, and we see where we are with him. But everything he's doing with us, he's doing it well.
It is kind of the calm before the storm, Dukey, in terms of the Saturday offer. And Anthony, like?
Yes, I particularly like that. That is a good handicap chase that you mentioned. I tried to find a way into that, but I found it too difficult. I did find one bet on the card, but it's my knack, so I can give it to you now, or I can hold it back, whatever you choose.
let's hold fire and let's look back at the Wonder Mares victories in the last 2 renewals of the big one on Sunday at Fairyhouse.
It's Honeysuckle, the leader from Bacardi's in the middle of the track as they race between the final 2 and the Hatton's Grace. And Honeysuckle is lengthening away from the field. In second place is Bacardi's Apples Jade back in third at the final flight. Honeysuckle over, flicks her way through it inside the final 150 yards. This is a special mare, and it's a Hatton's full of grace as Honeysuckle and Rachel Blackmore are impressive winners of the bar1racing.com Hatton's Grace Hurdle. As they come down to the second last, Honeysuckle and Rachel Blackmore being asked to go about their business. Coming down to the second last from Beacon Edge, who's throwing down a big run on the outside for Sean Flanagan. And then comes Ronald Pump and Bacardi's racing for the final flight. And it's Honeysuckle lengthening a couple of lengths clear of Beacon Edge. Ronald Pump and Bacardi's at the final flight. Honeysuckle, Beacon Edge hasn't gone away on the outside, but it's Honeysuckle as they run up to the finish. History is repeating itself in the Hatton's Grace from Ronald Pump and Beacon Edge in between horses.
Yeah, it's just great looking back at those renewals and sets it up brilliantly for Sunday. But before we get to the big one, why not start with the first of the graded races on the card, Dukey? This is the juvenile hurdle. It probably could be a little bit more competitive, but we have Field Door in the race. Lunar Power, who's very much getting his act together for the Inform Known Meet. What do you make of it?
Yes, I mean, Lunar Power, that breakout performance in Leopardstown, I was there that day, and that was the end of running them on the flat because the handicapper, I'm sure, went to town on him. But yeah, he was good when winning his juvenile hurdle. But the Field Door was exceptional, I thought, in Down Royal with the way he jumped. And if he can repeat that jumping performance, I think he'd be good enough on Sunday. Yeah,
probably looks the most exciting of the 3-year-olds probably to run so far in Ireland. Just get you in, Johnny Mac. This is a cracking card. It's obviously Bar One's kind of showpiece race card sponsorship of the day, and you must be delighted with the turnout.
Yeah, definitely, Johnny. Sometimes over the last few years, we've had weaker fields. Big names have scared off horses, but there's a bit of depth to the Royal Bond. They're open anyway, the Royal Bond and the Dreadmore. And obviously, Honey, she's the star on show, and she'll be a short price, but she's going to be the draw on the day. And there's people that never go racing have been telling me they're going on to Fairyhouse on Sunday to see her. So that gives you an idea of the attraction she is now.
And do you appreciate that, Davy, when you're in the yard, that these are special times because horses like this really only come around once every so often?
Yeah, sometimes you actually take it for granted. And then people actually when people come to the yard, they nearly rush to see her. And then they rush to see the other horses. Then you kind of appreciate it, and you see all the names, and you even look at the board and see the horse that are riding out. They're just savage horses there.
The only thing with her is there a pressure just maintaining that unbeaten run because it's so precious at this stage? I know like racing is about taking your chances and running, but it's amazing what she's achieved.
Yeah, it is, but we still have to turn up. We've set our stall out. We kind of said where we were going to go. It's the same program as last year and see where we are. But look, she's kind of very easy. She does a lot of it herself, and she's in good order. Coleman rides her the whole time, and he's happy with her. So we'll take it at that.
You don't have a run on the Royal Bond, but what have you made of My Mate Mozzie so far?
Oh yeah, he looks nice, doesn't he? He travels, he jumps, and he can pick up there. I'd say Dara is in for a good spin there now.
Taking on the 4-year-old Mighty Potter, this is going to tell us a bit more, Dukey, in the Royal Bond.
Yes, it will be interesting. I know you're interested in My Mate Mozzie for the Supreme, and of course, if he goes and wins this, they're running the 2-mile race at the Dublin Racing Festival. So they will go for the Supreme, but he might just get done for speed here. I know they'll go and make it a good gallop and uses jumping, which is a big weapon. But this Impervious, this is some mare. Like, she absolutely tanks through her races. She runs a bit free, really. But My Mate Mozzie's an ideal foil for her because he's gonna go a good gallop. Hopefully she'll start to settle a bit better. But she has a really big engine, and in receipt of the allowances, I'll take a chance on her to beat him.
Yeah, he certainly will. We'll find out a bit more about him. It might be the strongest view of the Drinmore Dukey, but maybe lifetime ambition, the horse to beat. Cape Gentleman hasn't done an awful lot wrong. The 10-year-old Blueberry trying to win off Willie Mullins, who obviously knows how to win novice races with 12-year-olds. What have you made of it?
I just thought it was too difficult. I couldn't rule any horse out of the race. I did jump very well. Maybe a nominal selection. It looks an impossible race to me.
We'll stay with you for the big one, the Hatton's Grace. I might be mad here. I'm going to take on Honeysuckle with Saldier. Just stepping up in trip. I think he's totally gotten his act together this year. And it's a price-based thing. She's obviously the horse to beat, but I think he might be slightly overpriced in around 6-7 to 1. I can't wait for this race. Do you think she's basically unbeatable? You would slightly remember that she wasn't overly impressed from the race last year.
Yeah, fell in last year. But I mean, this is me again. I mean, how many times have been on this show? Like, the definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Every time I take her on, the trip's too short. She's too short at price. I mean, 4 to 9 does look very short to me. This is arguably the best race she's ever running in terms of the depth of opposition. The only thing missing is Classical Dream. They've all stood their ground. I think she looks short, but I'm sick of laying her at this stage, Shawnee. I'm just going to watch it because she just always finds a way to win. If I was having a bet, I suppose I could have a few quid on Abracadabras each way or without her. I'd probably have a few quid, something small on him each way. He is a slightly mercurial horse, but on his day, he's really good. He has more good days than bad days, and he's a seriously talented horse. He should enjoy the way this race will be run.
Dukey, if you will go into the private chat there and send your nap to KT whilst I go to Johnny Mack and ask his thoughts on what is an utterly brilliant renewal of the race. Is she unbeatable, Johnny Mack? And is she the type of horse that people want to take on in Bar 1 because you're getting an each way price with the likes of Saldier?
I think she's pretty unbeatable, Johnny. Last year, Davey, you might be able to back this up. I think Henry said she wasn't that fit last year. We thought she was maybe done from the back of the last, and she just about got home. But she's 8 to 15, and she's going to be very hard to beat. Maybe Abracadabras, Johnny, for the placings. We've got 9 runners. Maybe 2 of them have little chance there. So Abracadabras will be hard to keep out of the 3, I'd say.
The thing about Saldier for me was when he ran the Galway hurdle, he went off a massive price. It was unbelievable in hindsight, the price went off. But all the talk from the yard was that he was probably too slow at that stage of his life. So the trip's going to be interesting. Any chinks in her armour at all, David, going into the race? And I've always fondly recalled Henry saying how she's grown up as a mare since she realised how good she was. What's she like at home now after the summer of 2021?
Yeah, she's still a bit of a diva, that she is. She gives the boys plenty of grief when they're dealing with her, tacking her up and brushing her and stuff like that. But hopefully there's no chinks in her armour, and hopefully she can win. The only problem is Saldier has the runs under his belt this year, and that could be an advantage in his. But look, she's as fit as we can get her at home on her first run, and we'll see where we are.
Is that a case of her, when you say she gives the lads a bit of grief, is that a case for her just knowing she's good and getting kind of cocky with time?
Yes, she's got that way. Because when she came first, she was a sweet little thing. now she wants to bite and kick him, man. But you leave him off. When she keeps winning, she can keep doing it. So.
Would you be surprised if she was beaten?
I'd be gutted. Gutted to lose the record. But look, maybe it's going to happen someday. Hopefully it doesn't.
Hopefully it doesn't, yeah. I'd love her to maintain this record. We'll just talk about your other run on the card, God Du Large in the 310. That's the handicap hurdle. It's obviously fiercely competitive.
Yeah, it's fiercely competitive, and he was very disappointing up the north. We couldn't really find a reason for it. We've put a tongue strap on him just to see will that make any improvement. But we're back to the drawing board with him and see where we are.
And we're going to get the naps now very shortly. Just before we finish up with you, Davy, any ambitions to go solo as a trainer yourself down the line? We often ask this to assistant managers in football. Are you happy being involved in arguably one of the greatest games in the business as it is with HDB?
It's an awful lot easier when you don't have to deal with too many owners. Dealing with the horses is easy. Dealing with the owners and their expectations is probably harder, and you're just better off on your own.
That is so true, Dukey. And you know this from being from racing family yourself. Owners, and we've been there ourselves, they're tough going at times, even though they're paying the bill.
Well, yes, I think what happens with some owners, I don't know, but I imagine what happens. It's a bit like owners of football teams. So to be a racehorse owner, you have to have some success in life, and to be a really big racehorse owner, you have to have been very successful in some aspect of your life. A little bit like people who own football teams. So they've been outrageously successful in one aspect of their life. And I think what happens is they get a bit of a God complex where they think they know everything, where they should really realize that it's hard to be, I'm not good at anything. It's hard to actually excel at one thing. So what are the odds that unless you're Tony Romo or something like that, you're unlikely to excel at two things. So you should just leave the trainers be. But I suppose it's hard to do that because they probably have egos as well. People who have a lot of power and a lot of success. So I suppose
I'm going to stop you there because I'm going to stop you there because you're actually good at a lot of things, including giving naps. What's your nap for the weekend?
Oh, my nap for the weekend runs on Saturday in the 246 in Fairyhouse. So this is a competitive rated hurdle. So we should get a prize. Stumptown. So I was very impressed with Stumptown. This was his first run under rules. He'd been second in a point-to-point. He went off 12-1, and he missed a few hurdles. He was kind of on and off the bridle. He didn't seem comfortable with the tempo of the race, but he just kept sticking in there. He obviously has an engine that he was able to make up the ground despite the mistakes of the hurdle. He gets the half a mile step up in trip tomorrow. I'm hoping he'll jump a bit better with the experience from Limerick, and that Limerick form has worked out really well, actually. So I think he'll be about 5 or 6 to 1. I know my tissue last week was hopeless, but I think we'll get about 5 or 6 to 1 about this horse, and I'll be backing him.
Johnny Mac?
I'm going to put up Buddy Rich, Johnny, in the handicap chase, the big race on Saturday. He mastered Ballyadam the last day at Navan. He's got another De Bromhead horse, Epsom de in against him tomorrow, but he's a horse who likes the sounder surface. He's been busy through the autumn there, and I still think he might be well handicapped based on that Ballyadam form.
A very solid horse. Well, my nap is Saldia in the 240 at Fairyhouse. As Davy says, he has a bit of an experience edge, and I think the trip will be key to him here. I think he's really gotten his act together this season. And that's it. Before we finish up, Davy, give us one horse to look out for the season, or the apple of your eye at the moment, presuming it's not a woman.
No, the apple of the eye is Bob. It's just, I'd ride him a lot, and he's just a bit of a dude.
Bit of a dude like yourself. It's been great having you on. Enjoy the weekend's racing, Davy.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and that was Davy Roche, who's the assistant trainer, not the head lad. He's actually assistant trainer to HTB. Dukey and Johnny Mac, enjoy the race over the weekend. We'll see you on Sunday, Johnny Mac.
Will indeed, Johnny.
Will you be there, Dukey?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Looking forward to it. I was going to go to Fairyhouse on Saturday, but they're asking people. The first is at 11:30. I mean,
you're hardly out of bed at that stage.
Well, many a true word spoken in jest, Johnny, but certainly getting me head together, getting some money, and it's just the logistics of getting to the races for 11:30. So I'm going playing pool and drinking tomorrow to set myself up for a big day at the races on Sunday. It's great stuff.
On that note, how can we finish off better than that? Playing pool and going drinking. Thoughts of Dukey on the Saturday. Thanks a million for watching. Thanks a million for listening. Thanks a million to Davy Roche for his insight, and that was On The Wire.
This is On The Wire, Racing TV's podcast for the best racing previews in association with Bar One Racing.